Say the twins, boys.
We're trying. We're trying.
I'm going with they rewound the TV. This is fake news.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, I'm Julie Tocheri, filling in for Marissa Roberto. And people claim the divisional round of the NFL playoffs is usually the best week of football of the year. And this past weekend did not disappoint, as we had 3 great games and just 1 blowout. And now the Final Four is set with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line next Sunday. Let's start with the Chiefs, because Patrick Mahomes' resume through 6 seasons as their starter is pretty much the best 6 seasons we've ever seen from a quarterback starting their career, as he's made the AFC Championship Game every single year that he's started, with a shot to add yet another Super Bowl and Super Bowl MVP to that CV. Yeah, he's pretty much Thanos of the NFL.
I am inevitable.
But to get to Vegas and the Super Bowl, he'll have to once again win on the road. Something he did for the first time ever yesterday in Orchard Park. But one thing he does have going for him against Lamar Jackson historically is the head-to-head, as Lamar is just 1-3 in his career against Mahomes. And the passing yards don't look great in these matchups, but the rush yards are definitely there. The Ravens are currently 3.5-point favorites on FanDuel, with the total set at 44.5. In the NFC, we've got the Lions and the Niners, as Detroit will be in the conference championship for just the 2nd time in their team's history. And they could be up against a shorthanded Niners team, as Deebo Samuel left Saturday's game against the Packers with a shoulder injury. He had some tests yesterday and the x-rays came back negative. However, that does not mean he'll be good to go Sunday against Detroit, as the early reports have him as a 50-50 shot to play. The Niners are 7-point favorites Sunday over Detroit, with the total set at 50.5. And the road to the Super Bowl concludes this weekend on TSN and CTV. It starts at Sunday at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific with the Chiefs and Ravens. And after that, it's the Lions and the Niners. It's a lighter day around the NHL, so why not talk trade deadline? And more specifically, some names you gotta keep an eye on because they could be on the move. Calgary currently sits 4 points out of a wildcard spot. But if it gets worse as we approach the deadline, here's 3 names that could be on the move. Elias Lindholm, Chris Tanev, and Noah Hanifin are all UFAs at the end of this year, and could make an impact for a contender. After a 64-point campaign last year, Lindholm has just 8 goals and 30 points this season. But the talent is undoubtedly there for the former 40-goal scorer. As for Hanifin and Tanev, per Money Puck, of all D pairings in the league that have played at least 420 minutes together, they rank 13th, with a 52.1 expected goals percentage, which is the best on the team now that Zadorov is gone. Another Canadian team that could be real busy is the Montreal Canadiens themselves. And they're one of the few teams that could make a move in net. With just 1 year left on Jake Allen's deal after this season, goalie-needing teams, like the Avs for example, could look Montreal's way for the former Cup winner. Sean Monahan is yet another name that's been tossed around a lot, as the former Flame has put up his best goals and points total since he was in Calgary in 2019-20. And lastly, let's do Anaheim, because there's a bunch of potential candidates, but none more intriguing than Adam Henrique. The former Devil is on pace to tie his career high of 51 points that he set in his rookie season. And he is peaking at the right time, with 8 goals and 15 points in his last 17 games. And 3 multi-point games in his last 4. Of all these names, I think my sneaky one that I'd like to see traded before the deadline is Trevor Zegras. His name has been flying around a lot, and I think he's a little duck that I'd like to see quack in a different city. And I'm shocked it took us this long to get to the biggest hockey news of the day. For those wondering if we'd see a clean-shaven Patrick Roy under Lou in New York, well, guess what? We absolutely did. I saw it. And you know what, guys? I kind of hate this. I thought Patrick Roy would be the guy to finally go toe-to-toe with Lou. Apparently not. And apparently Lou is way scarier than I thought if he intimidates even one of the scariest people I've ever interviewed, who I respect a whole lot, Patrick Roy. To the association and Raps fans, is the tank officially on? Well, with the trade of Pascal Siakam last week, it kind of feels like it. But based off the last 2 weeks, it might have started even earlier. The Raps are 1-6 in that stretch, tied for the worst record in the league, and the defense is getting absolutely shredded, as they're near the bottom of the league in many defensive categories in that stretch. But is this what Raps fans should want? Let's just remind you that for the Raps to keep their own first-round pick, it needs to fall between pick 1 and 6. Otherwise, it goes to the Spurs as part of last year's Jakob Poeltl trade. And checking the standings and the race for the bottom 6, tonight's opponent kind of feels like a must-lose game, as Memphis is one of those teams who is likely to embrace the tank for the rest of the season with John Morant out and Desmond Bane, who just went down for 6 weeks with that ankle injury. And you can watch the Loser Bowl, the Grizzlies and Raptors tonight on TSN. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
You want to do that, Haley? Try to get hit in the head? He's gonna be me.
If only he saw what we all saw coming. It's time now for my favorite segment and yours, Why We Love Sports Today.
Why we love sports today.
And this poor kid. Let's watch one more time from the beginning just to really build up the drama. Okay. Oh, nice. Tetherball. This is a safe game. We played this at Tamaqua this year. All the little kids play tetherball and eventually just, fall to their doom like that. He knew exactly what he was doing there. I believe that with my whole heart. He was waiting for this moment. Okay, this next video is Bergen Dodds, also known as death diving. And my God, it looks chaotic and it looks amazing. I don't even know what to say. Doesn't this hurt their bellies? And are they trying to look like fish on purpose? Is that part of the death dive? And how do you win? Why do they curl up before they hit the water? I like this, although it just seems like me and my friends in Thunder Bay jumping off rocks at camp after a couple drinks. I don't even know. That's all from me today. I'll be back here tomorrow, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Have a good afternoon.